it's only that much sugar, but it's an all, no. It's
One serving,
It's
right.
eye-opening, isn't it? I mean, I'm learning a lot from it. I've told people over my life.
As we get started, I can ask Marcia, my colleague who works with me. This is Marcia Picard. She's the school wellness coordinator. She came last week and was very helpful in getting things done, and came back again this week because she wanted to learn more. So we appreciate her being here, but also I've asked her to serve some low-carb quiche. Remember last week we had breakfast food and I made scrambled eggs and cream cheese. And you got to sample some cereal, some no-grain cereal, okay? I forgot and left my cream in the refrigerator at home. Had to run out and buy some when I got here, but it was fine. But I said, I've got all this cream at home and I'm not going to use it all. So I bought a dozen eggs, like 29 at over at Price Right? Okay, and made some quiche with some cheese that I had already. Okay, so free quiche. She'll give you a sample on a plate. She's going to scoop that out. Here's your scoopers, your gloves to work with. And I think, let's get it started now so you can sample that. And then at the end, I'll give you a sample of low-carb chocolate. Okay. Today, I was asked by a few people last week, and I don't see them here today. I don't know where they went. But they asked about eating away from home. Okay. We've concentrated a lot on foods that you can make yourself, and there's a whole table of recipes there that please feel free to sample. If you want to bring some in for others to sample, that's fine. What we want you to understand is that though the concept of lowering carbohydrates and increasing fats in your diet is fairly easy to figure out, doing it is not easy because of the world out there that has set everything up to be carbs, and sugar in 70 to 80% of the products in the stores. It's just awful what choices we have out there. And then what have they done with the fat? They've eliminated it, okay? It's very difficult to find foods with fat when you're out there. So we're going to talk about how to go through a restaurant. I'm going to hand out sample menus so we can have some discussion about what would you pick out of this menu, how would you do this. But first of all, let me get through the basics here. First of all, anybody new besides Betty? Anybody else? Okay. For both of you, I'm not a physician, I'm a clinical psychologist. Even if I were a physician, I wouldn't be here to advise you how to eat. Okay, that's between you and your doctor. If you're on medication, particularly medication for diabetes, you need to talk to your doctor before you go on a low-carb diet, because you could have difficulty if you continue with the medication at the same level that you're at now. Okay. Have your picture up there. Let me introduce. This is Amanda Raposo. You want to tell people who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator for Southcoast, and I work in their Southcoast Diabetes Management Program. And so I work with people who are carb intolerant, right? If you have diabetes, you're carb intolerant. And so I help them reduce their carbs to the level that they need. Some people a moderate amount, some people really reducing to a very low carb diet, depending on what works for them. So you have to find out what works for you.
Okay. Why it's hard to follow a low carb, high fat diet? Number one, it's weird, right? Anybody explain to somebody you're doing this and they go, what? Okay, yeah. There aren't many people out there trying to do this, okay? It's pretty rare, okay? Secondly, you'll be warned. It's bad for you. Oh, you can't do that. You have to have carbs, right? You hear that? Yeah, right. And of course, we know that carbohydrates are of the three macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is the only one that you don't have to have at all. Okay. I remember I told you on a few occasions that the Eskimos have lived for eons without carbohydrates. You can't grow vegetables north of the Arctic Circle. They eat fish and blubber and all that kind of stuff, okay? This saw on the internet this week. First cases of obesity in Siberian tribes as fatty fish is swapped for Western junk food. Okay, there you go. We've seen this over and over again with the Pima Indians and a lot of other tribes that have been studied extensively. But basically, if you take somebody who's been on a zero carbohydrate diet and put them on a Western diet, then they get heart disease, diabetes, and arthritis, and the whole slew of things that happen. Okay, they get to be just like us. Isn't that wonderful? Finish this. So low-carb diets contradict everything we've been told. It's difficult to find foods that have fat. Okay, we'll talk about that. The world is full of carbs and they're cheap. Okay, when the USDA recommended taking fat out of foods and going low fat, the food manufacturers jumped for joy because they know two things. One, fat is expensive. Okay, think of the animals you have to raise to get fat, etc. Okay, and fat spoils easily. Okay, we talked last week about flaxseed and how you got the flaxseed I ground up last week for cereal. It's in my refrigerator in a tight plastic bag with all the air removed because the fats in that flaxseed, once they're ground, start to oxidize, start to spoil. Well, the same thing happens in any other manufactured food where you have fat. Fat is not shelf stable. Sugar is. Isn't that interesting? So if you want to package your food, put it on the shelf and leave it there for 6 months and still be able to sell it, you want sugar in and fat out. Okay? So, like I say, when it went to low fat, the food manufacturers loved it. Okay? You have to plan ahead to get through the day. Okay? We're going to talk a lot about that today. And it's so easy to go back to carboholism, right? It's like any diet where you slip. You really have to work at a transformation of what you consider to be food. Okay, after 8 years, I look at a whole lot of things, like 3/4 of the things in a grocery store. I look at and say, that's not food. I'm sorry, I don't know why people are putting it in their mouth, but that's right. It's not. You're right. So, how can you stick with a low-carb, high-fat diet? First, buy only low-carb, high-fat foods. There's a little card back there on the table if you haven't gotten it yet. It gives you suggestions in terms of what to buy when you go to the grocery store. Okay? Probably before you do that, you need to go through and do a carb clean-out. Okay? Get rid of all that stuff in your house. Of course, the problem is if you got other people who live there, right? Then it's a problem. Well, then get your shelf and you put things that you consider food there, and you just don't go to the other shelves, okay? However you figure it out, you got to come up with having enough foods that you can eat that are readily available, okay? And you've got to stay away from the other stuff because it still has that magnetic pull, doesn't it? That plate of cookies, etc. Okay. Learn a few new recipes, the ones you like. Prepare foods ahead of time. Keep some backups in the freezer, so you always have some. You're all sampling the quiche. How's the quiche? Yeah, okay. You know what you can do with the quiche? Put it in the freezer. Yep. Okay? It works very well. I suggest you cut it up and put it in little baggies. But anytime you need a quiche, take it out of the freezer, 30 seconds in the microwave, you got a nice warm quiche. We got enough for everybody, I hope? Yeah. Good. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll have seconds. And then we're going to talk about traveling food, okay? Because when you leave the house, it's a jungle out there. So what is traveling food? That's what you may need to bring with you, okay? I frequently go to public health conferences sponsored by the Department of Public Health. And of course, the Department of Public Health follows the USDA guidelines. And of course, when they have a lunch, they take the fat out of the lunch. And they put the carbs in. And then I go there for lunch, and I can't find anything to eat. I starve at public health conferences. So what do? Take a brick of cheese, put it in my pocket. Okay? Pardon me?
Cracker Barrel.
Well, yeah, Cracker Barrel cheese, is that what you use? Yeah. Any cheese you like, if you're like me and you want the least expensive cheese around, go to Price Right, okay? It's still, what, $2 for an 8-ounce brick, maybe a little more now. But I can't find any lower. And if you go, Cabot will be twice as much, you know, that kind of stuff. It's just cheese, folks, okay? And they have all kinds of varieties and one thing or another. But those are in nice packages that you can carry out in the summertime to keep them cool. I put in one of those little ice packs, freezer pack, a little one, in a Ziploc bag, and it goes in my coat pocket, and it's fine. And if I need some, I take out a plastic knife, take a couple of hits of fat to get me through lunch at these places.
You sound like a druggie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be ordinarily. Have you ever gone to a big spread dinner kind of thing and found at the end of, instead of gooey desserts, find plates of cheese, plates of nuts? Hello? If this were a low-carb world, that would be the norm, okay? And then when people would put out the big gooey dessert, we go, "Whoa, what is that? Get that out of here." Not the way we do it. Okay. So when you have to eat out, when there's no low-carb food available for you, what are your options? We're going to pass these around. Take one and pass it. And while you're passing those, let me just mention one other. How many people go to Trader Joe's here? Anybody? Yeah. Seldom, I know. It's either Warwick or up at Gillette Stadium. So it's a hike either way. But if you go once a month and load up on the things, they just have really great choices there. You're going to sample some chocolate at the end. That's the only place I can get it. We were in there, my wife and I, my wife found this, I give her credit for this, some Volpe Rolltini. This is prosciutto, which is ham, okay? Italian ham, right? Very thinly sliced. And wrapped around cheese, okay? But what's nice about it is it's in a little pack. We ate the whole thing, so I couldn't bring it. But this is the size of it, very small, okay? But it's altogether, it's 1 ounce, but there's 6 grams of fat in that, less than 1 gram of carbohydrates, and no fiber, of course. But in other words, it's a fat bomb. Remember we talked a couple times ago about fat bombs? Okay. So that's something you can purchase and have on hand. It's nice that it's wrapped up in a package and stuff. If you don't want to make your own, you got it. It's the kind of thing you can throw in your pocket or purse, and when you're out somewhere, 1 ounce doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's nearly all fat, it will make you feel full. Okay, it's the way it works, and there are practically no carbs in that. Okay, I've also passed out a set of menus. You have some extras here. So I can have one. Thank you. Anybody not have one? What I did was I went to the internet, and downloaded some menus. Okay, you start with the first one that says Friendlies. Okay, question: when it comes to low-carb diets, is Friendlies very friendly? No. It's horrible. They should put a sign over the building that says, "High-carb feeding station here." Okay? We guarantee you'll put on 20 pounds if you eat here for 5 weeks. Okay? I mean, it is just awful what they provide. And just to give you a sample, there's the lunch and dinner. On the lunch and dinner menu, the only thing I could find that was anywhere near low-carb was their side mix salad, garden salad, circled, everything I'm talking about, circled. Okay? And even that's 20 grams. That's as much carbs as I eat in a whole day in one salad. Where do you think that comes from? The dressing, for the most part. Lots of sugar in the dressing. Okay? Flip it over, just to scare you to death, ice cream. Okay? Now, people say, well, what's wrong with ice cream? Because there's cream in it, and you talk about cream, and cream's got a lot of fat. Well, that's true. If you could make ice cream with just cream, you'd be fine. But what else is in ice cream? Sugar, and lots of it, okay? Now there are some no sugar, low sugar, sugar-free ice creams. And I honestly haven't taken a good look at them, whether they're worth it or not. But okay, what's the carb count of that?
I don't know, they don't tell you that.
They don't tell you. There you go. The point is, I don't know of any ice cream that any of us should be eating. It's really not really made for this. Okay. Here you go, Friendly's crowd pleaser. You ready?
Wow.
Total carbohydrates, 920. Okay, unbelievable. That's why I'm indicting them as the worst thing on the face of the earth for somebody on a low-carb diet. Okay, I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
How many people are you sharing it with?
Well, I don't know. Even if you're sharing it with 5 people, it's way too much. Okay. Next page. Our friends McDonald's. Okay, find the McDonald's page, a little hand up in the corner there. The two sides of that. Well, if I'm out and having trouble, I can get something at McDonald's. First is the grilled chicken salad. Okay, 9 carbs. Okay, not terrible. Where are the carbs in that? The breading on the chicken. Okay, if they just gave you grilled chicken with no breading and salad, and you chose your own salad dressing, you'd be okay. All right, but 9 isn't horrible. Okay, but mostly when I'm out. Well, let's go down to the bottom of the page. Quarter pounder with cheese, 42 carbs. Where are the carbs in that?
Bread.
The bread?
The bun?
Yeah, the bun, yeah.
Special sauce.
Actually, there is some, they put sugar in the meat, in the burgers. There's sugar in the meat. Not a lot, but it's in there. Remember I told you, research this stuff, and they know a little bit of sugar makes people like something, okay? But if you were going to eat that at all, a quarter pounder with cheese, what would you eat?
Cheese.
The cheese, yeah, although that's processed cheese, not so big. You know, what else? And the burger. Okay, just the cheese and the burger. If you flip it over, now that they serve breakfast all day, sausage McMuffin with egg at the bottom there, 29 carbs. Okay, that's still high, but that's mostly what? The muffin. Okay, take the muffin away. All right, that's what I do. Okay. I'm pretty good at eating a sausage McMuffin with egg on the lower, hold the lower bun, and then just eat around. So you never, I know it's a little messy, but what are you going to do?
Well, you know what I do?
What do you do?
I'll just go through and I'll say, can I have, scrambled eggs and the sausage? I'll get 2 of each. And they'll just put it on one of those little platters, and they sell it to me that way.
Right. Yeah. So.
They may look at you a little funny, but I don't care.
Okay, yeah, right. And if you go up above to Big Macs, what can you eat in a Big Mac? 46 total. What can you eat in a Big Mac?
Cheese, a burger again.
The burger,
The lettuce and tomato.
lettuce and tomato.
That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
The sauce.
The sauce, probably. I'm sure there's sugar in the sauce, but, probably not horrible. So, again, take the bun away, and you can have the Big Mac. Okay? And actually, they do use real tomatoes. I wish they used real cheese. Why don't they use real cheese? Why do they use processed cheese? Pardon me? It's processed cheese. Processed cheese. Have you ever noticed processed? I've got some Sorrento processed cheese, shredded cheddar cheese. It's been in my refrigerator for about 6 months. Has it gone bad? No. Will it ever go bad? No. It's processed, okay? And in the process, they add chemicals and stuff to it, and they basically neutralize the fat that's in it, so the bacteria doesn't have it anymore. Okay, which is a good sign. As Marcia was saying earlier to someone here, if, like Michael Pollan recommends, you want to eat food that bacteria like. Okay, so food that doesn't spoil is a clue that you shouldn't be eating it. Okay, you want to eat food that does spoil quickly. You just want to get to it before the bacteria does. That's all. Actually, what you're going to do is put it in your mouth, chew it, swallow it, and it's going to go to your bacteria. We talked about that last week, okay? You want your bacteria to eat it, not some other bacteria, okay? And that's why things like blue cheese are full of bacteria. You know, any cheese gets fuzzy on the outside, just trim it off if you don't want to eat it, but you could eat it, okay? It's not going to kill you. Okay, that's McDonald's. How are we doing time-wise? Next one. Anybody recognize the little girl in pigtails? Wendy's. Okay. And a lot of people often go to Wendy's because they think Wendy's is better than McDonald's. Is it? Not really.
I thought he was going for the camera. So I was like,
Yeah, they may have a few other options, and you know, I just consider all these fast food places kind of the same. So you have to exercise the same choices when you're in them. But just to take a look there, there's their version of chicken salad, blend, it's a Mediterranean chicken salad, with 14 grams of carbohydrates. 4 with the fiber. What does that mean if you have 4 grams of fiber? You subtract it from your total carbs, okay? Because it's fiber, you don't digest it. That's what fiber means, okay? So 10 grams, not too bad, okay, in the range. Flip it over. There. Pardon me? That's a half size, yeah. Right. Yeah, no, not a lot, right?
What is good enough, you don't have to use the dressing, they give it with you.
You don't have to eat it, no.
No,
Have the dressing
because
inside.
with just stuff on this and stuff on it, it tastes just as good as you had put any dressing.
The other thing is to...
you can ask for the full fat dressing.
Right.
You know, and if you ask for a full fat dressing, then you're going to get the dressing that only has like 2 grams per serving versus, 7 or 10. So that'll subtract quite a bit.
And if you want to get more fat, you may want to make sure that you're getting a lot of fat. Double the dressing. That's where the fat comes from on your salad, okay? Not the lettuce, there's no fat in there. Okay, so if you got a good low-carb dressing, have as much as you can enjoy, okay? It doesn't have to swim in it, but that's where your fat's coming from, okay? Flip it over, sausage and egg burrito, okay? I had to write that in and show up on the screen. Carbohydrates 14, sugars 3. What do you do with sugars? And what does that mean? Does that mean you subtract 3 grams of sugar? No. Okay. That 3 grams of sugar is in the 14 of carbohydrates. Sugar is a carbohydrate, but they often separate out sugars, and particularly added sugars, so you know what wasn't natural to the product. Okay. So you've got essentially 14 grams of carbohydrates for sausage and egg burrito. Where are the carbs in that? In the burrito. Okay. What can you do? Don't eat the burrito. Okay. If you're at a table, you roll it out and just scrape it off and eat it. Okay. Leave the burrito there. And then you're probably down to under 5 grams, I would guess. Okay. So that's a way of being away from home, not spending a lot of money, being able to find fat in food in lots of different places. Okay. So that's what you're looking for. Okay.
How do you think that chili would be? Because that's all meat.
Pardon me?
How do you think that chili would be? Because that's like all meat.
No, it's actually a lot of beans.
A lot of beans.
So you're getting a lot of starch or carbs from the beans. So, it's definitely not as low carb as people would think.
You can make chili at home that's very low carb. How do you do it?
Just beans.
Pardon me?
No beans?
No beans.
Yeah.
Are there carbs in tomatoes?
No.
Stewed tomato? Yeah, there are. Yeah, some. Yeah, tomatoes have some sugar in them, and then actually when you cook them, it releases even more sugar. So, but you might have 5, 6, 7 grams of sugar per serving of tomato sauce. What else would you put in your chili?
Onions.
You can put onions, which have a little bit of carbs. Peppers don't have any. What else? What's the main ingredient in chili? Okay, meat. Okay, hamburger. If you really want to do it the Texas way, you buy a big chuck steak, cut it up and slow cook it for about 6 hours until it's completely falling apart. Oh yeah. Oh, you haven't had chili that way. You haven't had chili. Okay, and then the only thing that goes in is some tomato paste, okay, And then along with that, you're cooking this to death. You know, slow cookers all day. Okay, the meat breaks down, it blends together, and put chili. You know, your chili powder. That's chili. Okay, it's just meat, tomato, and chili powder. Okay, and you can make that. You can freeze it. You can have it anytime you want, and that will be less than 7 carbs per serving.
That's the reason you use ground turkey?
You can, but why?
I happen to like it.
Ah.
Well, so what I was going to join in with the conversation here is that ground beef is going to give you that extra fat.
Oh.
So I wouldn't say 93-7, I would say 80-20, and don't drain the fat like we've been advised to before. Not only is that going to add to the flavor of the chili, but it's going to make you fuller for a longer period of time. And
If you're going to use turkey, use dark meat. That's where the fat is.
Yeah, yeah.
if you get grass-fed beef, it's even healthier. So.
Right, and we haven't talked yet about the whole thing about if your cows are eating corn, then you're eating corn. Okay, that's why grass-fed is a whole lot better, but we'll get to that at some other point. Okay, Boston Market. Anybody been there?
Yep.
Okay, I used to think, oh, this is good. I could pick out my own food. What are you going to eat there?
Turkey.
Pardon me?
Turkey.
Turkey?
Chicken.
Okay, just plain turkey.
I have turkey and I have double order of the steamed veggies.
There you go.
That's what I
Hear
have.
that? Turkey and double order of
I
veggies.
don't like the dressing and I don't
Okay,
like the...
yeah, the carbs, the stuffing is nothing but carbs, okay? Potatoes, nothing but carbs, okay? Even sweet potatoes, nothing but carbs, okay? What other options do you have there? So you all see what circled there is all the chicken options, but that's just chicken, okay? Turkey, just turkey. Home sides, on the sides, what do you, I picked out 3 possible options. I really wonder about the caramelized onions only being 1 carb. Onions have a fair amount of sugar in them, and you caramelize them, that releases even more sugar. But
Probably not a very big portion.
yeah, probably just a little tiny bit, right? But more realistic is the cream spinach at 11 carbs. Okay, does spinach have a lot of carbs in it?
No.
No. Does cream have a lot of carbs in it?
No.
No. So where is the carb, why cream spinach at 11? What's likely? How did they make it? Did they make it with real cream?
Probably not.
They put flour in it. Oh, it's cheap. Come on. You think they're going to give you real cream? No way. Okay. Right. You're going to get, I can't tell you exactly, because they don't tell you what exactly they put in there. But 11 carbs is too much for just spinach and cream. Okay. It would be 3-4 if it was spinach and cream. And then the steamed vegetables, probably your best option. 7, that's probably, you know, when they do vegetables, what do they usually get when you get vegetables when you go out? You say, oh, I don't eat potatoes and bread and all that kind of stuff. Can I have some vegetables? What are they going to give you?
Carrot.
Maybe broccoli, but probably not. Maybe carrots. Beans. Okay, lots of beans. Why? Cheap, easy to keep forever. Okay, but carbs and beans? Yeah, fair amount. Okay, 7, 8, 9, depending on, you know, whatever. So broccoli would be better. Insist on it. What's another good vegetable to ask for when you're in a restaurant?
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower, right? What else?
Spinach.
Zucchini, okay. The squash is a little higher, but it's okay. Yep. What else?
Asparagus.
Asparagus. Anytime I can get asparagus. I scan the menu, and if there's some other item on that menu that's got asparagus, that's what I ask for. Okay. And asparagus eaten how?
I grill mine, so.
Good. Grilled would be great, but with lots of what?
Butter.
Butter. All right. Make sure you get lots of butter. You know, when they bring that big basket of bread, say, take the bread away. I'll take the butter though. Okay. Get me more butter. Okay.
That was one thing I was going to say about, you know, choosing the chickens rather than beans. The steamed veggies are not going to have a lot of fat. So yes, it's low carb, but we have to remember the other side of things. So, you know, basically when I go out, I get, you know, whatever kind of protein, usually like I love steak, so I'll get steak, double veggie, extra butter.
Right. Absolutely, right. And there is a tradition in Portuguese restaurants in Fall River, you know. The steak with what on top?
Eggs.
A couple of eggs, right? And throw some butter on it. You're halfway home, okay?
But they don't know what vegetables are.
No, they don't.
I love them, but anytime I ask for veggies instead of the rice and potatoes, I get the mixed frozen veggies. That's
Right.
all I get.
Yeah. So sometimes your options aren't very good. On the back side is just the same thing at Boston Market. This is their rotisserie chicken, quarter weight meal, and that's with 2 sides put all together. Total carb 69. Okay, it's very typical for places like this. And then people go in there and say, well, I want low fat. And what do they end up with? You know, 100 grams of carbohydrates. What does that carbohydrate turn to as soon as it hits their mouth? What's it turning to? Well, it's turning to sugar first, and then blood sugar, and then your body's going to convert it to body fat. Okay, so it's not the fat you eat that puts fat on you, it's the refined grades of sugars that you eat that your body turns to fat. The fat that you eat stimulates your body to burn its own fat. That's how you lose weight on a low-carb diet. Chilies, next one. Okay, not too good there. If you look at, you know, you might think ribs. How many people like ribs?
I love ribs.
Yeah, ribs can be a good low-carb food. Okay, eaten away from home. What do they ruin it with? Sugar. It's so American. You know, oh, you're going to have ribs. Of course you want lots of sugar on your ribs, don't you? So they put barbecue sauce on, and it's loaded with sugar.
But you know they'll make it without it.
They can.
They
And
will.
what is that called?
I don't know, I just say I don't want it on it.
Yeah, you can ask for it without, and then you just get plain meat. But if you want some flavoring on your meat, they're good flavors. It's called a rub. Okay? You ever had a rub? A dry rub. Okay, dry rub means that they put the spices on the outside, and lots of them, and they taste really good. And then when they cook with the meat, they're wonderful.
This says 23 pounds for the dry rub.
Oh, they're dry rub?
Dry rub.
Yeah. What are you looking at here?
Texas dry rub.
Texas dry rub. That's the bottom one, right? 23. What do you suppose is in that dry rub? Sugar. Because that 23 grams of carb is not coming from the meat. There's practically no carbohydrates in the meat. Okay, so it's coming from something they've added to the meat. And most likely, they've made their dry rub with sugar. Okay.
But you can also do it with honey.
Pardon me?
If you do it at home, you can use
Do
honey.
it, yeah, do it at home. You're in complete control at home. The problem is when you eat away from home, that's when they're in control, not you. So you try to exercise control over what's being offered, okay? And if even the dry rub is at 23, that may be a lot higher than you want. There's a couple of barbecue places I've gone to, and I'm pretty sure that there's no added sugar. It's just dry rub. So this is Chili's. Whose Chili's going to appeal to? Low carb? No. Do low carbers go to Chili's in droves? Of course not. There's hardly anything there for them, okay? They're going to avoid it like the plague. But your friends may take you to Chili's, and then there you are, you know. You don't want to be unsociable. You don't want to sit there and be a nudge, you know. We'll talk a little bit about that. So any burger patty, those are some good options down there. Again, just the patty. It's at the bottom of the page. You flip it over, and there's some proteins, grilled steak, grilled chicken, etc., all in the 1 or 2 carb categories. And then for the table, bone-in wings, buffalo wings, 6. Okay. So there are some options there. Okay. But again, you've got to make your choices. Okay. Last one. Subway. They're the ones who've been advertising. Oh, next to the last one. Subway is this one with a big circle in the middle. Okay. Well, you want to lose weight, go to Subway. What were you supposed to eat at Subway? Sandwiches, right. And why would that make you lose weight? Well, who's the guy they had on there?
Jared.
Jared. Okay. He lost a lot of weight. Yeah. And gave it back. But anyway, you can lose weight at Subway by doing what?
Take away the bread, eat.
No, he didn't take away the bread. Just don't eat a lot. It's called starvation, okay? Otherwise known as a calorie-restricted diet, okay? Otherwise, what you're recommended to use to lose weight, okay? If you cut the calories and you starve, okay? In other words, you do not get the calories your body wants, you will lose weight, guaranteed. No question about it. Ask anybody in prisoner of war camp or anywhere else. Okay? If you do not get enough calories. As soon as those calories are available, what happens? Yeah, the weight goes right back up, and that's what happens here. So, as long as you're being paid by a large multinational corporation, you can lose some weight. Okay? And that's pretty much what happens on The Biggest Loser and a lot of those things. Okay? Everybody thinks it's the exercise. It's not the exercise. It's they're on very calorie-restricted diets, and they lose weight, of course. Okay? The problem in life is not how you lose weight. The problem is how do you lose weight and not spend the rest of your life in abject hunger, okay? And the way you do it is to cut your carbs, add your fats, which gives satiety, so you feel full, and then food's not a problem, as long as you can get it. Okay. Last one, Ed's Famous Barbecue.
Oh, before we move on the subway, people get the wraps thinking that they're better than the subs. And so if you're getting a 6-inch sub, you're getting 45-ish grams of carbs for that 6-inch sub. If you're getting a wrap, the wraps are actually 50. So they are not better, they're actually slightly worse. So people make that change thinking that it's better, just kind of making this assumption. But you can't assume, because the portions, like the wrap is huge. It is just as much. So.
One other strategy I've used is to get Joseph's wraps. I didn't bring a package of. We talked about it. Go to where the wraps are and then look for Joseph's brands. There's a couple other brands now that are also. You're looking
Tomorrow's
for.
Is good.
Pardon me?
Tomorrow's.
Tomorrow's.
T-U-M-A-R-O.
And these are all under 10 grams. Where a slice of bread will be 15, 17. Okay. I cut one of those in half, so then the Joseph's I'm down to 4 grams. Okay, but take that with you to Subway, buy the innards of whatever you want to purchase, throw their bread away and put it in yours. Okay, so you make your own wrap. All right, you can't get 5 carb wraps, large wraps. And the way they do that is they make them with flaxseed. They make them with grains that have a lot of fiber in them. Okay, so the fiber gets subtracted. Okay, so when you eat out, check the menu, ask for the nutrition content, ask for substitutions, reject the carbs, and go for the fat. Okay? Fast food can work. Order what you want, not what they want. Reject the carbs, ask for extra fat. Same thing. When you go to someone else's home, anybody ever been invited to eat at someone else's home? Okay. Anybody been invited to eat at someone else's home since you've been on a low-carb diet? Totally different experience. Okay. Usually when you go to someone else's home, they cook something. What do they cook?
Spaghetti.
Yeah, right. Lots of pasta. Well,
Rice.
potatoes, lots of good fresh bread. Wonderful stuff. Okay. Why do people make carb-loaded meals for their friends? Why? It's cheap. What else? It's what?
It goes further.
Goes further.
Tastes good.
It tastes good and people love it because when you finish that meal, carb-loaded, maybe you got 150 grams of carbs, but you're full with the wrong stuff. What's going to happen in a few hours?
Hungry.
You're going to be hungry. Okay.
You gotta have dessert.
Right. Oh, there you go. Dessert. What person invites their friends to a meal only to give them a dessert that doesn't have any carbs in it?
Yeah.
Nobody. Okay? That's how you tell people you love them. You give them sugar. Okay? Right? Our culture is based on that. I'm not kidding. Okay? Sweetie?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we teach our children about sugar from the moment they're born. Okay? And we did the program we did on Head Start about snacks. I found out that children in America eat 47 pounds of sugar in a year. 47 pounds. Adults only eat 42 pounds. Kids eat more sugar per year than adults do. And their bodies are, what, a third the size, okay? Don't get me started. We'll do a whole thing on sugar. It's just awful. Okay. But when you know, explain that you're on a special diet, okay? Doctor's orders, okay? If they want to know, tell them, but don't force that on them. And certainly don't criticize them for eating what they're eating, okay? You know, you're invited to somebody's home, you're there and say, oh, I can have a little of this, or I'll have a taste of that, but what I really, you know, it can be tough sometimes. You know, you really don't have many choices at all on the table. And you're not going to bring your pack of cheese out and put it on the table then, okay? Sometimes if you can sort of warn someone ahead of time, you're going to have to explain things because people don't get it. And then when you say, I need lots of fat, and they go, what? That's not good for you, you know? And they feel like they're killing you if they give you something with fat in it, you know? It's difficult. What can I say?
I got weird looks. I have a plate with a chunk of fatty meat.
Yeah.
And I tell them I'm on a diet. Yeah, but look at all that fat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the approach.
Right, exactly.
You're on a diet.
Well, and we, for 40 years, we told people that the fat on your plate will give you fat on your body. And it's absolutely wrong. That's not what happens, okay? We also told them that fat will clog their arteries and more heart attacks.
Yeah,
That's
but
wrong.
it was because fat was supposed to be fat and you were on a diet.
Right, exactly. Right. Diet means no fat. Right, exactly. Right. And when you tell them my diet is fat, they look at you like you have 3 heads. So, you know, you could send them to my low-carb webpage and we'll explain the whole thing. But most people don't want to know, quite frankly. You're on a special diet. Thanks for making that special high-carb or low-fat dish, but explain you're on a special diet. Offer to take a taste and rave about how good it tastes. But don't spit it in your mouth. Okay? You know, you're not. One meal isn't going to kill you. You can always cook fat load before. You know, eat that piece of cheese before you go there, so you're not that hungry. Okay, or after the meal when they're not looking. Talk about how wonderful that big gloppy high-carb dessert looks, but only take a taste, and express your false desire to be, you wish you were able to eat it. Oh, I wish my doctor would let me eat that, okay? And it's not your doctor, it's you. And finally, don't get caught in an argument about carbs. Only explain what you're doing if people insist on knowing. Watch as they seem confused, but be sympathetic and assure them that this is really healthy and offer them to show them evidence if they're interested, okay? This is not a chance to preach, right? Simply, you know, if they have questions, you answer them. If they want to know more, they'll ask, okay? And then when you cook for other people, and this is a, how many people have people at home who aren't interested in lowering their carbs in their food, okay? Only that many, okay. I know your story because you've explained it before. When you have other people at home who don't want to eat fat and don't want to lower their carbs, you got a problem, okay? Because there are going to be a lot of foods there that you're not going to be eating, and they're going to want those foods. And if you're the person who's cooking for other people, guess what you're going to end up doing? Make that rice, make those potatoes, make, you know, all that kind of stuff. Well, okay. You know, you do that, put it there, they eat it, okay, you know. But at least there, you can make sure that you have what you need to eat, okay? And you just keep supplying what other people think they need to eat, right? So I think here's the last, okay. Understand that others are still addicted to carbs, and truly, I mean, it's a little bit like, you know, working with somebody who's on a drug, you know. You know that they're addicted to that, and if they haven't chosen to work to get off of it, you're not going to make them get off of that. They're going to want that. And because carbohydrates have that addictive quality, they're going to continue to expect them. Don't try to convert them, encourage them to talk about different choices, and ask them So how's this high carb diet working for you? Gee, you've cut fats. How's it going? You know, people will say, oh, I'm hungry all the time, and I lost a few pounds, but now I can't. I don't know what's wrong, and you'll hear a lot of sad tales. And agree that everyone is different because we all are in terms of the effects of carbs and fats. Okay, not everybody is everybody isn't the same. So
Everybody has their own carb tolerance.
oh, that's a good way to put it. Right. So when all else fails and you have to eat carbs, don't fret. You'll get over it. One meal isn't going to kill you. Look
Can I
at
add
it
one
as
thing about that?
sure.
If you do have a high carb meal, the biggest thing that's going to happen is you're going to retain water. So it's not going to show on the scale the day after the high carb meal. Usually it reflects 2 days after. So I'm not exactly sure how to explain that water retention that way, but if you have a high carb meal, it's just water retention. You didn't gain 5 pounds in a day. But it may take up to a week in order to have that water retention go away.
Hopefully this was helpful to you. Over the next 6 sessions, the topics are diabetes and fasting. It's an important one, even if you're not diabetic. Okay? Fruits and avocados, heart disease, one on sugar alone, one on bread alone, and what to eat every day. Any favorites out of that?
What to eat every day.
Fruit and what to eat every day? Any other ones? Why don't we do what to eat every day, because that's kind of a follow-up to this, okay? And so you can get into the routine, and then we'll do fruit. How's that?
That's good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes, before you go, if you would like to purchase these are, I buy them for $2, I sell them for $2, okay? I make no profit. Then probably, okay, why don't you hold one and then see what other people want. Anybody want to? Hang on, let's find out how many. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody else?
So just so you guys have any questions about how to read this label and how they come up with the 2 net carbs or one net carb.
Right?
Each serving size is 3 squares, okay? And so there's 15 grams of carbs, which would be like, why is Dave recommending this? But there are 3 grams of dietary fiber, which you can subtract out. And then they subtract out the 11 grams of sugar alcohol. There's debate on sugar alcohols, whether you should subtract out the whole thing, or if you want to subtract out half, because they do have the caloric value. But in any case, compared to other chocolates, they are really much lower in carbs. And that's for 3 slices squares. If you just have one like you did just now, then it's even less. Now, I also want to say one thing about sugar alcohols. In large amounts, they are a natural laxative. So you eat this whole bar, you will be running to the bathroom. You've been warned. Whenever you see anything that has like sugar alcohols in it, like Atkins bars or anything like that, that's why people have diarrhea afterwards, because they're a natural laxative. So sugar-free cookies, sugar-free whatever, a lot of times they make it with sugar alcohols.